we have a guest joining us now to talk about this trial. David Schwartz is a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. David, always great to see you.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Vinny.
Hi, David. All right, let's talk about the medical examiner and specifically this missing evidence, a chipped piece of fingernail that may have been found at the crime scene and may have been secreted, hidden, destroyed, not turned over by Dr. Henry Lee, according to the judge. There may be a piece of tooth that was found by the prosecution or by law enforcement at the crime scene, documented and then disappeared. How's all that going to shake out when the jury deliberates?
I think the prosecution better watch themselves here. They're going to spend a lot of time on this tooth, and they're spending a lot of time on the fingernail. You know what? But the jury's got to ask themselves, and I'm sure the defense will help them ask themselves, why didn't the prosecution find the fingernail in the first place?
Because they're human. Because law enforcement's human.
But they're going to argue that they're incompetent. How come they didn't find? How does this help the prosecution besides discrediting Henry Lee, which, you know what, in the end, I'm not so sure. Henry Lee is not going to admit to taking the fingernail.
No.
The evidence is going to be sketchy as to where that fingernail went. In the end, I think it's a wash. I don't think it's going to discredit someone of the status of Henry Lee. And how does it help the prosecution in the end?
It only shows. It's got to help the defense. I think he's right, Vinny. It's got to help the defense because the defense is all about science in this case. And if the prosecution doesn't have the science on their side because evidence has been missing, evidence has been destroyed by either side. Look, the prosecution has the burden of proof. If they don't have the evidence, this could very well be a defense verdict.
Yeah, and as a prosecutor, I don't like going down the road where, you know, there's evidence that we lost the tooth, we never found the fingernail, and we're saying that they found something that we couldn't find. You're basically admitting incompetence, and I don't like that from a prosecution standpoint. I don't think they should go down that whole road. And here's the other thing about the fingernail. How do we even know? How do we even know that it was broken that night at Phil Spector's?
We don't know.
How do we know that it wasn't broken at work? How do we know it wasn't broken earlier in the day?
Right.
See, this whole fingernail, David Schwartz, and I think you're with me on this, the fingernail, the prosecution's obsession with this issue. They've been obsessed with it for years because they believe that the defense has hidden or secreted a piece of evidence, and they think that's the way they're going to win this case.
I just think they're obsessed with the Henry Lee factor. I think they have focused on Henry Lee. They're obsessed with him. They know that Henry Lee could win the day for the defense, and they're doing anything to discredit him at this point.
Don't you think it's a big deal, though, if an expert at a crime scene finds a piece of forensic evidence and then doesn't turn it over?
It's so speculative, though, Lisa.
It is speculative, but the judge says it happened.
No, but the judge said that the evidence could come in. It's ultimately up to the jury to determine whether or not it happened or not. The judge wasn't there. I wasn't there. You weren't. Nobody was there.
Why fight that battle?
Why fight it?
Why fight it? They've got Adriana D'Souza. They've got the gun in his hand. They've got the blood spatter. They've got a woman who's dead in the foyer with the suit with her purse right underneath her shoulder. They don't need to fight that battle. Just leave it alone.
Yep, fighting hard.
They lost a tooth. Is that a big deal, David Schwartz? They lost a tooth?
No, it's not a big deal.
My son just lost a tooth a few months ago.
It's not a big deal, but the defense certainly is going to use that. In closing arguments, all the defense has to do is build up reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt. And in the end, they're going to argue to this jury, they lost evidence, they're using all these items, they can't find the evidence, they lost it, they picked it up, the vial broke. What does that equal in the end? It equals incompetence. And that's certainly what the defense is going to argue. And along with the fact that the prosecution's case up till now is based all on speculation.
Well, it's not all speculation.
It's speculation. What's not speculative about their case right now?
Well, Adriana D'Souza did see Phil Spector a few moments after the gunshot goes off holding the gun.
Okay, so he grabbed the gun, but still, no one. D'Souza was not in the room during the shooting. I'm just saying, are they going to?
And there's also, if you believe Adriana D'Souza, and yes, it's an issue that's up in the air right now, but if you believe Adriana D'Souza, he after the gunshot goes off, and after he comes outside holding the gun, he does say, "I think I shot somebody."
Yeah, but then he backtracked on that. He's not too sure what there was such a fast, shocking situation at that point. I'm not sure D'Souza knows what was said at that point.
He did have a little blood on his hand,
too. Look, clearly there's evidence here. I'm just arguing what the defense is going to argue. Right. Of course, all the women that came into court and talked about Phil Spector's history with guns, that is highly prejudicial, and that may actually win the day for the prosecution. But the science here could destroy their case. And the finger.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the science, because it's obvious what the defense is trying to do is trying to do a preemptive strike. We're going to destroy the credibility of one of your experts, defense, before he even takes the stand. Before he even takes a stand, we're going to tell the story about Dr. Henry Lee finding this piece of evidence that suddenly disappears. So Dr. Henry Lee gets on the stand and says it never happened. I mean, what does the jury do with this? What is the jury going to sit down and the same way this judge did and figure out if whether or not the female lawyer Kaplan is telling the truth or Henry Lee's telling the truth? Or what are they going to do with that? Are they going to try to? Are they going to say, you know what, we can't believe anything Henry Lee says?
No, I don't think that. And as a side note, Robert Shapiro in this case, that's a complete disaster. You know, there are ethical considerations here.
He might be testifying.
Yeah, I know that, Vinny. And there is an attorney-client privilege, and that privilege lasts way beyond you're fired from a case. That attorney-client privilege is sacred. I'm sorry to sidetrack on this issue, but it disturbs me so much as a criminal defense attorney, somebody coming out against their former client and actually giving evidence that could be hurtful towards their case. Now, getting back to your original question, I think the Henry Lee issue is going to be a wash. I don't think the jury is going to base their decision on whether or not they think Henry Lee took a fingernail from the crime scene or not. I think the prosecution has to get back into presenting their case, and they need to present it effectively, and they need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this man committed murder, and whether or not Henry Lee took a fingernail from the crime scene is not going to aid or assist in their burden.
I'm not a big believer that this fingernail tells us a lot anyway. But with that said, it's time now to take a look at today's 13th juror question.